My name is Melanie Silva. I am the co-founder of Afresh Collective, a video production company here in Philadelphia. My connection to cinema is that I studied film and media arts at Temple University. Um, I've been an editor for most of my life, and now switched over into more producing, directing, and now having my own production company with my co-founder Davecia. Why don't you introduce yourself, Davecia?
Hi, I'm Davecia. I'm also a editor, producer here in Philadelphia, and also went to Temple University. We didn't meet at Temple; we met years later, but we connected uh, at a different company, and there we decided, to come together and create our own company, one
I,
that we can um, really push the messages that we are interested in and are passionate about, which is diversity and telling stories from and by diverse people.
yes, and I'll add to that, Davecia, that really also women.
Yeah.
That one of our biggest goals was to hire and work with more women. You know, a lot of times you hear on set that, oh, people don't hire, or I can't find a woman DP, or I can't find a woman this, but they do exist. So we wanted to give ourselves, not and let's say not only women but non-binary people as well. And it's definitely part of the whole gamut of diversity. And we're both mothers too, and I'm
Mhm.
sure people could see my baby waving around here. He just woke up. So
Why do I think that Philadelphia is an exciting place for young filmmakers? I
because
think
you're from
because,
DC.
yeah, I'm
You're
from
from
DC.
originally from Philly. So what do you
Yeah,
think about Philly?
I think that Philly is a small community and you can get to know a lot of great people and have really good relationships with each other. Um, and I feel like not just in the film world, but also just like Philly in general, everybody is just really kind to each other and open to help. I think out of all the places that I've worked, Philly is definitely the place where you get connections and you keep those connections, and and they're not just like connections because you're in business together, but they become like friendships really. And that's I think that's what's unique about Philadelphia, just kind of like the people, really.
I would say, although I'm from Brazil, and I was born in Brazil, I lived in Philadelphia most of my life. Um, I think what's interesting for for filmmakers, or young students, is Philly is very close to New York, but it's the cost of living here is much more reasonable, I would say, than New York. And the small community, I feel, helps in um, just not being as competitive. Would you say, like
Mhm.
Davicia, that there's I guess, less competition? Like New York, there's how many DPs, how many
Right.
directors, how many producers. Philadelphia is a little bit smaller, and I think it's that helps also being a
That's
little bit
inter-
smaller.
that's an interesting point because I feel like in Philly, you can really get a lot of experience early on. Like, people really give you the space to learn. Whereas in other cities, you really have to know what you're doing. It's not a lot of learning on the job in other communities. Here, people hire young and they understand that they're hiring young, and therefore, like, you have that space to like learn without that pressure of I have to perform at an extremely high level because I'm still young and I'm still learning and they know that.
I mean, I'm always excited when art schools include film and video and digital arts, because it is also a different art form. I also especially love experimental video, and I wish that I had more opportunity to use that or to do something creative and even, have it showcased at a museum or something like that. That's like a dream that I have, and not, just doing like corporate videos or anything, but um I think in a school like Moore that's a school for women and non-binary students. I think it's fantastic because this is an industry that's dominated by men, and it's harder for us. I mean, you all can see right now that I'm a mother, and then I have a baby, and then I have to breastfeed it, and I have to, I feel like it's much harder for me, for us, making it to this world. But I feel that the more we push ourselves in there, the more accepted, the more spaces that will open up, and especially spaces to do for jobs that aren't usually associated with women, or non-binary people, like gaffers. I don't think I know a female gaffer. I don't think so. DPs I do, but it's usually a male job. So I think it's important that an art school like Moore, has also film and media, and oh, I'm so sorry, because it's important.
I think that it's really cool that more is opening up to the film world, and having a major there, because because more is a school where it's multiple disciplines in art, and film is very unique in a sense where we we need to collaborate with all types of artists to create our work. You know, we can. It doesn't have to be just a person behind a camera. We can use different mediums to create our story, and I think that being in an atmosphere among people who are outside of like the film world can give the a filmmaker a unique perspective, a different perspective.
And you know what, Davecia, to add to that is I'm really excited to see what kind of collaborations could happen between a film student and a fine artist, or like specifically someone that works with clay, or sculpture, that's into sculpture. Like what kind of things could be done, or what each of them could learn from their worlds, I guess, and
Yeah,
their art forms. I think that that's going to be really interesting. And you know, Temple, it's like you have the film and media arts major within a huge university with all different types of majors, but that are all different types of humanities and whatnot. Here, this is a specific school that's just art. It will be
yeah,
really interesting, and exciting to see what the students produce from a school like within that world, that's just immersed in that world.
yeah, and how and there more is very it's a small school, so it's a very tight community. So like I feel like the film majors will be interacting with all sorts of other majors and in a more organic way, which is it'll be interesting to see what happens. Be confident. I guess confidence is key. You have to have confidence in the work you're creating. You have to have confidence in yourself. And that's not saying not listen to advice or not listen to criticism, but you have to, the number one thing is to own what you're working with, own what you're working on.
I would say, think outside the box, which is the name of the title of my like last documentary that I did for film school. That used actually different arts and different mediums, and in this documentary that I did, and it had dance, and I interacted with it, and it was a really experimental, interactive with different arts piece. And so I'd say, definitely think outside the box, go, think outside the screen. I definitely agree with Davecia of having confidence, and also think something that when you're reviewing your work, or when you're saying, if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. So go into that, and believe that you can make it, and that you could be just as good as anyone else, uh, regardless of your gender, regardless of anything. And I think if you have the determination to follow your dreams, although that may sound cliche, to do that, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It'll be fun.